Well, secondhand works for a variety of reasons. They'd rather have a dog-eared copy of Kerouac on the Road than like a pristine copy from some big chain store. Can I help you out with something?
Yeah, can you help me out with these CDs?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tim Peterson, the owner of Squeezebox Books and Music. Squeezebox is a local retail store that sells both secondhand and new records and books. I've always been in this business. I started in big chain stores selling new music and immediately, within a couple years or so, jumped to an independent retailer that had a small chain around Chicago that sold exclusively secondhand stuff. Really kind of learned the ropes there, and then 4 or 5 years later, jumped into it, opened my own shop, began to incorporate new product as well. Always really enjoyed the surprise that comes with used product and never knowing what record's going to be in somebody's collection when they bring it in to sell, never knowing what book is going to be in there when they come in to sell. I love what I do. I love this shop. I love the contributions that the staff is able to give to the shop and the smiles that I see on people's faces when they come in. And the first impression is always a really good one, I will say. People get really excited when they come up with their first find. They're like, this is so great. I had no idea this place was here. So wonderful to discover. When I was opening the shop 13 years ago, most of my friends and family were like, oh, you should name it Peterson Books, or you should name it Tim's Spot, or something related to you. And I didn't like any of that, and I've seen it before, and I didn't want to go with, a store 757 associated with your address. That seems like a kind of an easy out that you see. So my wife said, what do you love? And I said, I love accordion music. Nobody else likes accordion music, but I love accordion music. She's like, call the store Squeezebox. It doesn't relate necessarily to anything, but it's a fun and it's kind of a catchy name. Additionally, the first space that we had was a tiny little spot. It was 500 square feet of retail, and so we were really squeezed into that spot. So it worked. It was a great name for that, Squeezebox. Squeezebox in particular is unique because of its mix of new and used items. It's probably roughly 80% used, 20% new. People like to come in and you'll pick up a current novel, say, or a brand new album, which have gotten very expensive, 30 plus bucks sometimes. And you can balance out that with, a classic thing for half of that price. And so you feel like you've gotten more bang for your buck, I think. Just a small snack I can use right now, but I can offer you. The other thing that's really great about this store is that we purchase stuff and we offer store credit. I used to be more concerned about how online sales would impact the store. And instead, these days, I see it more as working hand in hand. Somebody might sign on to a website like Amazon and see the top 20 sellers and say like, oh, that book looks pretty interesting, but then they'll come to us and say, hey, can you get this for me? Or hey, do you have this in stock? And we special order stuff every single day, and we usually have a turnaround of about 4 or 5 days, and people are patient. They want to support the small folks. So there is kind of a symbiotic relationship with all the online information that's out there, and even the online retailers are out there. Hey, how are you?
Hi, good.
What you looking for?
Jack.
Squeezebox is important to this community because it gives people a chance to have a tactile shopping experience. In this day and age where we all, including myself, purchase stuff online for convenience, it's great to just go get lost in the store, discover things that you didn't know were out there. Just walk into a different room, look at a different display, see something else up on the shelf, and say, that looks really cool. I think it's really important as a retailer to constantly evolve and constantly evaluate and not become static in your approach and in such a wide variety of ways. There's the front end, which is all the displays that you're putting out are constantly changing and feeling fresh for people who are visiting, bi-monthly or, quarterly, something like that, or even weekly. But then there's also the back end, which is at our store, we sell a lot of product online via third-party retailers. And what that does is it allows us to put the really strong product in the store first, and if it sits around for 6-8 months, we have an option to turn it around online on like an eBay or something like that and bring in more fresh things so that the store doesn't seem static, but we're still making money to help pay the bills. The advice I would give to someone starting retail, and I've done it a number of times, people reach out to me and say, how did you do it? I would love to do my own shop, is listen to your customers. When you have a physical retail location, you're engaging with people every day, and honestly, it's 90% positive. But you have to be willing to really engage with people, talk to them, be patient, listen to them, and I love it. And I think most of the folks that end up working here for a long period of time really enjoy talking to the customers, learning from the customers, engaging with customers, all that.
Thanks so much for coming in. Thank you.
Have a great day.
We are retail.